he married a non-Jew?
Yeah, she looks very Asian to me.
Oh, right, her,
Yeah,
right.
me, yeah.
Who was her mom, by the way?
She was adopted by the woman that
Mia
Farrow.
And was she Jewish?
Mia Farrow, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to say much worse that he's marrying non-Jews. Much worse. The fact that this... Or, if you have a woman and she's like, this make-believe stuff... Because, according to Torah, it's a nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
We like to make the jokes and call him, whatever. But it's not... She was an adult. It's not pedophilia. It's not incest. Because she's no blood relation. She's not even a Jew. So that's a nothing. She's just a goy who grew up in the house with him. And he's not even married to her mother halachically. So it's like a nothing, according to Torah. The problem was he loves to marry non-Jews, and the bigger problem is he's supposed to represent the Jews, and he loves intermarriage. So,
Is Woody Allen a good representative for the Jews?
No, absolutely not. He's a horrible one.
What do you think of Meir Kahane?
I met him.
That's right. You used to run with him, what?
No.
You and Koch, like in
No,
Israel,
not at all.
blowing up Arabs. And...
No, I argued against him, actually.
Really? Why did you argue?
I argued against everybody. He came to my school a long time ago when I was in high school. Do you remember the Skokie thing?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
All right, so there was Nazis.
Like
what
late
was this?
70s, right?
78?
Yeah.
Something. Like in 1978.
Nazis wanted the right to march in Skokie.
Yeah. The Nazis...
A lot of Holocaust survivors.
Yeah. Skokie is in Illinois. It's like a Jewish suburb just north of Illinois. Just north of Illinois. Just north of Chicago. And the Nazis wanted to march right down downtown Jew Street. And so Meir Kahane went around the country to every Jew school and every yeshiva and everything. And every shul. And he was trying to round up all the Jews to get on planes and go to Skokie and counter-protest.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta just, right off the bat say, I'm not the kind of person that goes to these protests. What's so funny?
Going to protests.
I've never been to one of
like people with a life don't get a protest.
It's like I'm not a Tea Party person. I don't go to this. Or, I'm not gonna go to March for Israel Day or whatever it is. I'm not there. I'll watch it on TV. I mean, I'm just not that kind of guy. Okay, so I just want to put that. So anything he said is going to go really in one ear and out the other. But while he was there talking that day, and by the way, I got in an argument with him because I told him I don't like the idea of us doing a counter march, and here's why. If 25 Nazis show up and they do a march, how much airtime are they going to get?
Not much.
Not much. But if 25 Nazis show up and get into a fist fight with 3,000 Jews, how much airtime is it going to get?
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be another story. That's going to be like the biggest news story ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, let's not go.
Yeah.
Why give them... They want to get attention, right? They want airplay, right?
Yeah.
Why give them what they want? Isn't it better just to ignore them? And you know what he told me? He told me I had the attitude of people in pre-Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
He told me that to my face. He said, if like the Nazis in Germany were planning a march, you would have been like, oh, don't give them the attention that they want, and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I thought, oh, maybe the guy's got a point there, right? I thought, oh, 1 point for this guy. But, you know what? I had limited information back then. How old was I? 16 or something?
Yeah.
And later on I realized, no, that doesn't even add up. Because the Nazis in Germany were sponsored by the government.
Right.
Right? They were under the auspices of the chancellor, the high guy, right?
Right.
The Nazis in Skokie were like 30 yokels, right? Who the government wanted to silence, but they can't because they're protected by the First Amendment, right? I mean, the comparison doesn't make sense. So I realized, oh, I just got sold one. But then, he also talked about other things like intermarriage and whatever. Whatever it was that he said that day at the time left a lasting impression. I give him that. He's real good at when he talks to people who don't have a foundation, don't know everything. Like, I don't care how firm you are or learned you are. In high school, you just don't have all the information you need to balance somebody who's very forceful and throwing a lot at you. You don't know, you know what I mean? You haven't had a chance to really develop, and you don't have the Torah training to know what's right and what's wrong. And it wasn't until later in life when I learned a lot more that I realized every single one of the things that he threw at us that day can easily be slugged up. And the more I've seen over the years, it's just like every single thing that he says that goes counter to mainstream Torah can easily be refuted. He is almost wrong on everything he's ever said.
What do you think about? He's most famous for wanting to kick all Arabs out of his
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. That's easily refuted, right? If what was the deal? The deal is he's going to pay like each Arab to leave, right? If the state of Israel offers an Arab $25,000 to pick up and get the hell over the border, Saudi Arabia says we'll pay you $75,000 not to move. They will bankrupt Israel. They've got a lot more deeper pockets. The Arab world will pay them not to obey the Jewish orders.
Do you think it was immoral of him to agitate to remove all Arabs from?
No, no. You want to know what? The state of Israel made a terrible mistake when they won those wars in '67. They should have immediately repatriated all of those people with the countries they came from. There's no such thing as Palestinians. There's ex-Jordanians and ex-Egyptians. And they should just pick them up and move them. Don't pay them, just get them out of there and say, these are your people, get them the hell out of here.
You're not afraid that this would compromise Israel's democracy to eject a quarter of their citizens?
Are you kidding me? It's not their citizens. It's a bunch of Arabs who were living in...
When Israel fought its war of independence, do you think they should have also kicked them out then?
Yes.
Because instead they said, you're welcome to stay, just don't cause trouble.
No, they should. Well, even if they didn't, right? In '48, they should learn their lesson. '67, you don't want to have to support these people. Listen, when the U.S., I hate to say it, but when the U.S. imperialized, right? And when they spread themselves out, and they took over California, Texas, and these places, right?
Yeah.
What did they do with the Mexicans?
Gave them one of those taco trucks to run. They didn't kick them all out.
Basically, they did.
Oh.
They did.
Well, a lot of them stayed.
A lot of them stayed.
We got names like Los Angeles.
My point is that they should have given them all the option. You leave now, or you're going to play ball. But I would have just kicked them all out. That's me. So I think in that regard, the Kahana had it right in '67. They should have done it. But once they stay, and now you have a choice of either paying them to leave, which isn't going to work, right, or you force them to leave, which oh my God, you can't do that in like 1980. It's too late. You can't just go to them and pick them up at that point. You know.
Do you think Israel would be better making all its citizens take loyalty oaths? Remember the head of foreign affairs for Israel wants all the non-Jewish citizens of Israel to take loyalty oaths. What do you think about that?
What's the loyalty? I don't even know.
It's a loyalty oath to the Jewish state of Israel.
Is it just lip service?
It's an oath that you're supposed to take.
But is it lip service? Or
sure, yeah.
What's the point?
Well, just to affirm that Israel's a Jewish state. And
Israel's got problems. The one thing that is okayed in my mind about giving all this land back is it preserves the Jewish state aspect of it, if you will. Because otherwise it's going to be an Arab state, just because they breed faster than the Jews living there. So in that regard, every time they take all the Arabs and they say, okay, you're in a different, you're not part of it anymore, that's actually good.
Who's going to make the beds in Israel? And like
bang the hammers.
Yeah, bang the hammers.
They got the Russians now to do that.
So it's like, is the Arab genetically just bad news for the Jewish state? Is there like some genetic predisposition on their part that just makes them?
No,
then why not welcome the diversity? Embrace the diversity.
Because
we learn from each other.
Okay, first of all, it's a Jewish state. It's not supposed to be a diverse state. It's supposed to be a state for Jews, right? That's number one. That's number one. And number two is that those Arabs are all aligned with each other and they hate us. So what's the point?
Maybe if we hug them every day, like we gave them a hug.
I need to go to sensitivity training.
Yeah, I think you do need to get it.